Hello, and today we're going to be reading from Uncle Arthur's Bedtime Stories, Volume 1, page 70, Conkers and Conquerors. Fred Warren just loved playing Conkers, a game played with chestnuts. In a box at home, he had 152. He had bored a hole through each of them so they would be ready to put on his string when needed. On his way to school, Fred passed the chestnut tree, and every time he went by, he picked up all the nuts he could find to add to his collection. One of his conkers was a real veteran. He had kept it for 2 years, and it was as hard as iron. It had won 85 battles and had smashed all of his opponents. Fred was proud of it and believed that it would never be beaten. One fine autumn afternoon, Fred was at school with his pockets at his mind full of conkers, while his teacher was writing on the board. Fred was challenging all the boys within whispering distance to a battle with his veteran conker. Presently, a visitor came to the door, and the teacher was called away. "Keep at your lessons," she said to the boys as he left the room, but his words were unheeded. Hardly had the door closed behind him before out from a dozen pockets came as many conkers, all on strings, ready for active service. Whack, whack, crack! Fred's veteran was more than a match for the others, and pieces of chestnuts were soon flying all over the room. "Psst," someone warned. Conkers and string disappeared. A dive was made for the pieces. Then all became deeply absorbed in the books. The teacher returned and looked suspiciously around. Then his eye fell upon something on the floor. He knew perfectly what it meant. "Has any boy been playing with chestnuts while I have been out?" he asked. There was an awful silence. Fred was fighting a battle. Should he own up? If he did, he would probably have his much-prized veteran conquer, and his victories over the other boys would be ended. If he didn't, well, would it matter anyway? The teacher had once been a boy himself, and knew what was going on at that moment in some boys' hearts. Without saying a word, he went to the blackboard and wrote as follows: "Conquer, conquer, conqueror." Then, turning around, he said, "Is there any boy here going to let himself be beaten by a chestnut?" This was too much for Fred. It came home to him that the 85 battles of a veteran conqueror were nothing as compared with this one fight with himself. "Please, sir," he said, rising to his feet, blushing to the roots of his hair. "Please, sir, I played while you were out. Bring me your conquer." Fred sadly obeyed, handing over his veteran, string and all. "Thank you," said the teacher, "but the game of conkers cannot be played by one person. Many others have been playing here this afternoon, but have not had the courage to own up. This class will stay till 5 o'clock, Fred Warren alone excepted." How pleased Fred was that he had spoken out. The night he told his mother what had happened, Mother understood. "I would rather have my boy an honest, truthful conqueror," she told him, "than have all the conkers in the world." And Fred agreed. It is always best to own up and tell the truth. Boys who do this will become brave and noble men, for it takes courage to admit we have been wrong.